Welcome back to my monthly series called Pokemon Slab Sunday, where once a month we go over a ton of graded cards. We have so many coming down in price right now. And then at the end, I'm going to compare a PSA Slab to all the other grading companies. And I do have to announce the winners from last Sunday's giveaway. For the member winner, it is at Avon47. And for the subscriber, the winner is at Joe Rome. So just hit me up on Instagram and I'll get those cards sent out to you. And we are doing a giveaway today for a CGC Pristine 10 Japanese Melmetal V Full Art. So all you have to do is make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a like, and let me know your favorite card from today's list. And we do have to get things to our video sponsor real quick, and that is PokeNotify. If you guys are sick and tired of missing out on all these drops, and you guys have signed up to all the stores and all the Instagrams and all the free Discords, and you guys still have not been able to get any product, give PokeNotify a try. I constantly get messages of people saying they got this box or this box. And they even have a 3-day free trial, so you guys can just check it out. And then if you use the code PokeBeardtcg at checkout, you'll receive 25% off your first month. Definitely check them out. All the links are in the description. But all right, let's get started. We got a ton of cards to go through. We got the Lily's Clefairy from Journey Together. Still slowly falling. Last sold in a 10, $650, $650. We did have quite a few sales at $800, $900, stuff like that. Next, we have the Enzora, also from Journey Together. Last sold in a 10, $360. We got a 9 at $83. Another 10 at $370. Forgot to check the 9 on the Lily's Clefairy. Last sold in a 9 is about $225. Next, we got the Pikachu from Surging Sparks with a pop of $3,941 in a 10, and in a 9, $5,689. This card was $2,800 on release, and it hung around $1,000 for the longest time. Now last sold $835, $811, $859, and in a 9, $300 and $295. Next, we have the Latias with a pop of $2,246 in a 10, and in a 9, $3,544. This card was $2,000 on release, and then it hung out around $600 for the longest time. Now last sold $450, $449. We got a 9 at $185. Next, we have the Milotic with a pop of $1,889 in the 10, and in a 9, $2,556. This card was at about $600. Now last sold in a 10, $288, in a 9, $101, $120, $120. Honestly, such an affordable card. Next, we got the Tropicals from Stellar Crown with a pop of $3,046 in a 10 and $3,227 in a 9. This was at $355 in a 10. Now last sold $200. Another one at $172. And we got a 9 at $51. Next, we got the Squirtle from Stellar Crown with a pop of $6,728 in a 10, and in a 9, $7,973. Got up to $298. Now last sold $195, $187, $195, $184. And in a 9, we got $65, $86, and $65. Next, we got the Bulbasaur from Stellar Crown with a pop of $6,058 in a 10, and in a 9, $7,394. Got up to $244. Now last sold in a 10, $180. We got a 9 at $65 and $55 and $47. Next, we got the Persian from Shroud of Fable with a pop of only $1,463. And then in a 9, $2,062. Got up to $385. Now last sold $206, $202. We got a 9 at $60 and $35. All right, next we got the Greninja EX with a pop of $5,458 in a 10. And in a 9, $4,246. Got up to $800. Now last sold $675, $660. And in a 9, $325 and $315. Next, we got the Eevee from Twilight. So the pop on this in a 10 is $7,151. And in a 9, $6,786. This card got up to $357. Now last sold in a 10, $215, $187. And in a 9, $63 and $65. Next, we got the Raging Bolt EX from Temporal Forces with a pop of $2,235 in a 10, and in a 9, $1,882. Got up to $340. Now last sold in a 10, $270, $280. We got a 9 at $77, $65, and $67. Next, we got Morty's Conviction. Got up to $180. Now slowly coming down right now. Last sold $128, $153. $139, and in a 9, $60 and $46. This only has a pop of $1,401 in a 10, and in a 9, $1,181. Next, we got the Bubble Mew with a pop of $9,432 in a 10, and in a 9, $10,955. Got up to $1,066. Now last sold 775, 800, 750, 902. In a 9, we got 300. We even have a 9 here at 180. That seems crazy. Another 9 at 335. All right, next, we got the Charizard from Paldean Fates with a pop of 10,432 in a 10 and 9,080 in a 9. Got up to $621. Now last sold 370, 400, 502, 405, and in a 9, 167. Seems pretty cheap. Another one at 190. Next, Gardevoir from Paldean Fates with a pop of only 5,208. And in a 9, 4,142. Got up to $300 in a 10. Now last sold 227, 196, 215. And in a 9, we got 80, 80, and 66. Next, we got the Groudon from Paradox Rift with a pop of 2,762 in a 10. And in a 9, 3,172. Got up to about $450. Now last sold 328, 280, and 350. And in a 9, 108, 95, and 80. Next, we got the Altaria EX with a pop of 1,215 in a 10. And in a 9, 1,453. Got up to about $250 in a 10. Now last sold 173, 209. We also got a 9 at 42, 45, and 49. Next, we got the Roaring Moon EX with a pop of 2,617 in a 10. And in a 9, 3,066. Got up to about $275. Now last sold 170, 177, and 167. And in a 9, we got a sale at $51. Next, we got the Charizard EX from 151 with a pop of 14,895 in a 10. And in a 9, 21,758. We even have 7,182 8s. That's crazy. And there's 1,084 7s. As you guys know, got up to $1,000 in a 10. Now last sold 760, 750. We got a 9 at 289, 225, and 250. Crazy. Next, the Blastoise EX with a pop of 9,279 in a 10, 13,406 in a 9, 3,755 in an 8, and 373 in a 7. This card got up to about $360 in a 10. Now last sold 285, 297, 285, 300, and in a 9, $75. Next, we got the Venusaur with a pop of 8,526 in a 10, in a 9, 11,549, in an 8, 3,417. And then this card got up to about $330. Now last sold 270, 295, 256, and in a 9 we got 75 and 75. Next, the Zapdos EX with a pop of 6,838 in a 10, in a 9, 9,689, in an 8, 2,841. PSA 10 got up to $290. Now last sold 268, 218. We got a 9 at 70, another one at 60. Still very affordable. Next, the Charmander from 151 with a pop of 4,502 in a 10, in a 9, 7,985, in an 8, 2,450. Got up to about $300 in a 10, now last sold. 220, 260, and 227. We got a 9 at 50, another 9 at 46. Next, we got the Squirtle from 151 with a pop of 4,529 in a 10, 7,554 in a 9, and an 8, 1,667. And this card got up to $250. Now last sold in a 10, 210, 205, 171. We got a 9 at 46, another one at 45, 44. Next, we got the Alakazam EX with a pop of 6,125 in a 10, 8,072 in a 9, and 2,226 in an 8. Got up to $230. Now last sold 188, 165, 188. And we got a 9 here at $55. Next, we got the Charizard EX Full Art with a pop of 5,737 in a 10, in a 9, 5,753, and in an 8, 1,104. This card got up to about $140 in a 10 at most. Now last sold 125, 110, 112. We got a 9 at 35. Another one at 44. So this one's just coming down in price a little bit. Next, we got the Charizard EX from Obsidian Flames with a pop of 7,574 in a 10. In a 9, 14,940. And in an 8, 5,123. Got up to about $425. Now last sold 325, 325, 310, 326. And we got a 9 at 80, another one at 73. Next, we got the Ninetales with a pop of 2,183 and a 10, 4,656 and a 9, and 1,447 and an 8. Got up to $340 and a 10. Now last sold 154, 175, 135, 170, and we got a 9 at 35, 31, and 31. Next, we got the Magikarp with a pop of 2,346 and a 10, 6,583 and a 9, and 2,715 and an 8. Got up to about $1,500 in a 10. Now last sold 1,275, 1,075, 1,100. Another one at 1,200. We got 9s at 205, 235, 210. Next, we got the Raichu with a pop of only 856 in a 10, and in a 9, 2,211. One of the lowest pops we've seen so far. PSA 10 high was $400. Now last sold 320. We got a 9 at 43, 40, 45. Another 10 at 380. Next, we got the Tyranitar again, low pop, only 858 in a 10, and in a 9, 2,386. It's got up to about $410 in a 10. Now last sold 413, 375. This one's not really going down in price too much at all. We got a 9 at 50, another one at $40. So this one is holding strong because, as you can see, it has a pretty low pop in a 10 for how popular this card is. Next, we got the Gardevoir EX with a pop of 4,013 in a 10, and in a 9, 3,875. Got up to $205 in a 10 in March, but we did just have a sale at $228 for that card. But before that, it was $175, $165, $127. We had a 9 at 50, another 9 at 44. So we have that one high sale there. Next, we got the Drowsy with a pop of only 598 in a 10, and in a 9, 1,928. PSA 10 got up to $775. Now last sold 342 in a 10 and 355. We got a 9 at 55, 48, and 65. Next, we got the Slowpoke with a pop of only 324 in a 10. In a 9, 1,259. And in an 8, 535. What did the Drowsy have in an 8? 596. So the Slowpoke got up to $525. Now last sold 330. We got a 9 at 25, 28, and 39 and 60. Next, we got the Pikachu with Gray Felt Hat. It's crazy how this card is still climbing with a pop of 36,000 in a 10, 31,000 in a 9, and 2,800 in an 8. But last sold 829, 860. In a 9, we got 340, 339, 344. It's just crazy. Another 10 at 810. But if this keeps up, it's going to be a $1,000 PSA 10 card. All right, next we got another card that is coming up in price just a little bit. So the PSA 10 settlements got down to $600. Now last sold in a 10, $700. So that's good to see, even though it's just one sale. But still, I really, really like this card, and I'm happy that, someone else appreciates it. Next, we're going to check out some Pokemon Center stamped promos, and then we're going to jump to Sword and Shield. So we're just going to run through some of these. We got the Magneton Pokemon Center in a 10 at 155. Petrant Pokemon Center in a 10 at 86. Iron Thorns at 480. Magneton at 150. Ogerpon at 181. Magneton at 137. Mimikyu at 146. Petrant at 100. Noctowl at 170. The Eevee still slowly falling at 450. And the Magneton, it hung out at around $200 for the longest time. Same with Mimikyu. We got Zora here at $450, your best offer. And then we have a couple of them here at $1,755 that were on auction. That is just crazy. And then we got Magneton at $140, the Koraidon at $1,000, Petrant at $97, Mimikyu at $148, Eevee at $426. Looking for the different ones. We got the Miraidon at $429, Noctowl at $130. Let's see, anything else? We should have a couple more, but of course they're not on here. Let's go to the next page real quick. More Eevees, Miraidon. Here we got a Fluttermane finally coming down in price. The price on this card also was just insane. Last sold $1,225. Another Zoroa at $499. Here's a Charmander at $1,575. Another Koraidon. Let's just go up here to... Ooh, there's the Pikachu from How They Evolved. That's what I was looking for, $1,100. Now we just got to find the Snorlax, which, ooh, right here, $677 in a 10. All right, let's jump to some Sword and Shield cards. We got the Lugia, got up to $697 in a 10 in the last couple months. Now that's sold $590, $630, $592, and in a 9, $281, with a pop of $16,273, and in a 9, a pop of $9,227. That is crazy. Even the 8 has $1,700. Next, we got the Giratina V with a pop of $7,228 in a 10, $6,454 in a 9, and $1,800 in an 8. Got up to $1,618 in a 10. Now last sold $1,125, $1,337, $1,251. We got a 9 at $495 and $440. That's some decent prices for the 9. That's good to see. Next, we got the Machamp V with a pop of $3,801 in a 10, and in a 9, $2,260. Got up to $400 in a 10. Now last sold $275, $305. We got a 9 at $143 and $153. Next, we got the Charizard V with a pop of $12,000 in a 10, and $8,000 in a 9, and $1,600 in an 8. Got up to about $500. Now last sold $480, $422. We got a 9 at $199, $180, and another 10 at $550, another one at $440. So some of the Sword and Shield cards are holding on pretty strong. Next, we got the Umbreon VMAX Trainer Gallery with a pop of $7,100 in a 10, in a 9, $1,700, and in the 8, $350. Got up to $251. Now last sold $150, $145, $175, $100. We got a 9. Where are the 9s? We got a 1/9 at $85. Next, we got the Gengar VMAX with a pop of $9,986 in a 10. And then in a 9, $5,702, and in the 8, $829. Got up to about $1,500. Now last sold $1,586. Before that, though, it was $1,225, $1,227. We got a 9 at $529 and another 9 at $738. So Gengar's also holding on decent. Next, we got the Espeon VMAX from Fusion Strike with a pop of $8,672 in a 10, in a 9, $4,010, and in an 8, $551. Got up to about $700. Now last sold $490, $485, $486. We got a 9 at $265 and $207. Next, we got the Charizard from Celebrations with a pop of $25,000 in a 10, in a 9, $12,788, and in an 8, $1,167. The all-time high for this card was $1,500. Now last sold $216, $233, $217, $225, in a 9, $90. Next, we got the Umbreon VMAX with a pop of $16,300 in the 10, $4,211 in the 9, and in an 8, $972. Got up to $2,930 in a 10. Now last sold $2,180, $2,225, $2,300, $2,275, and in a 9, $1,100. Next, we got the Rayquaza VMAX with a pop of $10,000 in a 10, $3,000 in a 9, and $715 in the 8. And last sold, it says $875 in a 10, $1,424 in a 10, $1,050, $1,309, $960, $980, $1,000. We got a 9 at $700, another 9 at $630. So a couple weird sales there. Next, we got the Umbreon V with a pop of $6,084 in a 10, $4,767 in a 9, and $1,236 in an 8. Got up to $610. Now last sold $486. And we got a 9 at $217 and $207. Next, we got the Dragonite V with a pop of $7,233 in a 10, $4,679 in a 9, and $832 in an 8. Got up to $522. Now last sold $464, $479, $485, and we got a 9 at $221. Next, we got the Rayquaza V from Evolving with a pop of $6,639 in a 10, $3,764 in a 9, and $1,100 in an 8. Got up to about $410. Now last sold $356, $370, $375. We got a 9 at $191. Next, we got the Blaziken VMAX with a pop of $4,681 in a 10, $1,400 in a 9, and $300 in an 8. Got up to $660. Now last sold $630, $585, $630, $675, $599, $490, and we got a 9 at $419 and $325. Next, we got the Galarian Moltres V Alternate Art with a pop of $5,048 in a 10, $2,522 in a 9, and in an 8, $559. Got up to $440. Now last sold $375, $375, $315. We got a 9 at 176. Next, we got the Sleepy T-Tar from Battle Styles with a pop of 4,726 in a 10, 3,115 in a 9, and we got 680 in an 8. This card got up to about $470. Now last sold $450, $410, $440, and we got a 9 at $225 and $182. Next, we got the Vaporeon VMAX Black Star promo. Beautiful card with a pop of 3,478 in a 10. In a 9, 4,556, and in an 8, 1,063. Still doing very, very good. Got up to about 450. Now last sold 420, 420, 460, 452. So still right there. And in a 9, 75, 62, and 70. Next, we got the Vaporeon V with a pop of only 1,227 in a 10, much lower pop rate. And in a 9, 3,784. In an 8, 1,400. Now this card just keeps increasing. Last sold in a 10, 426, 515, 620. We got a 9 at 75, another 9 at 51. Next, we got the Charizard V-Star promo with a pop of 7,593 in a 10. In a 9, 18,348. That's crazy. And in an 8, 5,579. This card is also still doing very good, holding on strong. Last sold in a 10, 355, 380. And in a 9, 60, 40, 40. Next, we got the Charizard VMAX promo with a pop of 8,391 in a 10, 15,000 in a 9, and 3,000 in an 8. Again, holding on pretty strong. Got up to about $200. Now last sold 175, 175, 173, and in a 9 at 40 and 35. Next, we got the Charizard V promo, the sleeping one. Pop on this is 6,396 in a 10, 14,846 in a 9, and 4,054 in an 8. Last sold in a 10 is $185. We got another 10 at 157, and then we got a 9 at 35, 38, 36. All right, we are going to jump to eBay and compare some graded companies. We got the Charizard GX from Hidden Fates. So we got a sale here for Ace Grading. This is a UK brand where the label kind of matches the card. So it sold for $620 on auction. Next, we got the Tag Graded Charizard GX. Sold $820 on auction. And then we got CGC. So we got the basic CGC. We got sales at, $790 plus $40 to the UK, $680, $720, $600. Next, we got CGC. So we got the basic CGC. We got a sale at $790, $680, $720, $700, $700. And then we have the pristine sale here at $1,105 with 20 bids. Next, we got PSA. Last sold $976, $950, $920, $920, $945. So very, very solid. And then to end it off, we got BGS. So we got the gold Beckett 10 at $1,350, your best offer. And we got another one here at $1,100. Another one at $1,280, $1,200. And then we got the Beckett Black Label. Just had a sale, $5,191. Or best offer from the UK with $130 in shipping. And then we got one that was on auction from Z&G at $4,064. But that is seriously so tough to get an English Beckett Black Label, not to mention of one of the most popular modern cards. So, I mean, that is definitely a grail for sure. But all right, that was today's Pokemon Slab Sunday. If you guys do like this content, please make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a like and comment. Remember, comment your favorite card from today's list if you guys want to be entered into that giveaway. And I am starting to post more shorts and reels, so please check those out. And if you guys want to support more, you can check out my Instagram or my YouTube membership. It's only 99 cents a month. But all right, I want you guys to have a great day. And if you want to watch my last Pokemon Flying Friday, which was a super good one, click this video here. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.